And the Formula One cars apparently go through there at 72 kilometres an hour. Right. So there's not a huge between a Formula One car and a Rookies Cup bike. 72 for a Formula One car bike. But of course, the Formula One car is not generating hardly any downforce at that sort of
moment is the main sort of compromise that riders have to make in their setup. As we saw in the rain yesterday, you won't see quite the difference today. But Danish, who likes to stop and go parts of the circuit more, he was relatively rather slow.
Straight there is 207 kilometres an hour, 129 miles an hour in sixth gear. Red lights are on, they're out, and who makes aid? Christian Daniel Darty gets rolling superbly the 70, but 34 Zenmitani comes across and moves him over, but it is the 54 of
Veda Pratama. Morelli gets pushed wide from second place by Zenmitani, and his riders all over the shop, and then Christian Daniel just behind them. David Gonzalez moves up the inside as well, into him, right wide through there into 2B. It's all fairly sensible up towards turn 3.
And that's up the first gear corner at the top of the hill. And they're all safely away so far, but probably away yesterday to pass him on the penultimate corner. I wonder if he's going to do the same thing. Christian Daniel Jr. on 7.
Absolutely brilliant. You've got to keep an eye as well on Hakim Dinesh in 9th place. Fortunate leader now. We now sit second place in the standings, 4 points off the lead. He is where he started in 9th with the groups. Keep an eye on his progress.
Yeah, superb start for all the Veda Pratama and Ariata can break away.
Yeah.
Christian Daniel determined to do it today. He is now in the groove, right behind Brian Uriarte.
Wow, look at this. Impressive. He's not quick in the wet as he was yesterday. He's quick in the dry too. That's where he got his first podium at the start of the year in Jerez. And we now have a 1, 2, 3. It looked like will we see any kind of moves in towards 2A and 2B?
Morelli was well off in the green stuff, exiting the first corner on that time, so we had some got to watch that.
In towards turn 3 they come then. Feeds 51, 70, 95, 11, 30 as Daniel will come across the line leading the short-lived.
Yeah, and they're broken away, the group is broken.
So he's got Dinesh for company just behind him. Chase begins. They're 1 second off David Gonzalez at the near enough or on the exit of this corner. We'll see whether that gap is coming down or not. But the lead is in their best interest just to absolutely pin it because they've got Karpushin and Dinesh hot.
The tape that they have on the radiator at the start of the race, as the temperature rises, the riders can put.
Then he was the fastest rider on track last time around, 0.2 of a second quicker. So he could well be a threat later in the race. But what's for certain is these front 5 pack race, they want to have one of their own.
Yeah, that's right. And Brian Uriarte group away from the rest of the field, but that isn't happening at the moment. It's 3 abreast on the brakes.
Oh, it's them off a little bit later than everybody else. He's going to go across track limits, though, on the exit of that, which is the risky side there again. But Christian Daniel just so late on the brakes, isn't he? Goodness me. And that was a bit of an example there of climb up towards turn 3.
And I think he dragged Veda Pratama onto the green with him there at turn. Visibly closer now. You don't need to see the too much about the timing screens because you can see they are close.
Want a big pack because all that means is come the end of the race, they could be leading over the line. The person who is in his best interest to bring the group all together, Hakim Dinesh.
Yeah, and he at the down to what? Sort of 16th, oh no, down to 20th position.
Goodness me. The first of the track limits warnings coming in for Guy and Plonk already. You don't want that stage in the game, do you? Because one more time and you find yourself going through the long lap penalty.
Certainly has the pace to drag this group, and this, who is that in the background, way off on then. And there's somebody pulling off. That was Christian Daniel pulling his tape. Up the inside is Morelli on Christian Daniel. He does it. Morelli takes.
It was 0.9 of a second with the chasing group across the finish line that time around.
Has pace round here. If his FP pace is anything to go by. So
parts of the track then. Morelli sitting tight in 3rd position. But he didn't quite make it stick there. So we got track limits warnings for Agustin.
Yeah, that is very much a warning. All 3 abreast again on the brake change.
Hasn't he? Not what we expected from the Argentinian. Kicked off the year with a 5th and a 4th place finish. He got his first podium. This is what we want to see from Morelli.
Yeah, he had 2 wins last year, and we want to Morelli away from the first corner.
And of course, him and Morelli came to blows back in Sachsenring, didn't they? And look at 0.6 of a second as they come across the first intermediate split there, rider there, number 7 of Benyat Fernandez.
And of course, that group of 5 punches a big guys into the slipstream very effectively. So it's Brian Uriarte who takes up the lead from Veda.
Likely to last.
Right, and as you were talking about, you know, using up your time way slightly, but it's very, very predictable. So the guys can feel what's happening, and it's Brian Uriarte that leads. But up the inside now, it's David Gonzalez there on the number 11.
Daniel pushing Marco Morelli rather wide there in towards the penultimate turn. And riders trying to avoid the other riders catching too much of a slipstream. Morelli up the inside of Daniel again, just slots it. Others, they've now got Can't pushing on their tail. Can't push it moving up the inside. Potentially, certainly of Morelli. By side with Morelli in the background too.
So Uriarte leads. Spanish can make a break for it. They've got the slightest advantage over Veda Pratama and
push in, Peter. The Yugoslavian rider corner where there isn't really a lip. It will be the first turn as well.
Then on the brakes. This is where Brian was so late yesterday and won the race, but this time keep off the green. They're all using every bit of rope. But Brian Uriarte and Veda Pratama go with him.
Crucially, Peter, into 6th place as they cross the line. That then on the chasing pack, Uriarte and Gonzalez side by side coming into Gonzalez going way wide though. A big bubble for the number 11, and he's going to mess up the drive. We've got 4 riders abreast towards turn 3. You got Dinesh. He's back in a 2nd place. It's
absolutely superb stuff there. Brilliant to see Hakim on the number 13 now. 1, 2, 3.
And if you've got David Gonzalez, who really lost out with that big mistake in position. So it's actually 1, 2, 3 in the championship, and the 5th rider of the championship, Benya.
Absolutely superb, and a great run from Hakim Danish as well. You know,
low race, they're backing it up sometimes, but
anyway, right. So it's Uriarte from Pratama for the Malaysian. He's obviously expunged that from his brain now, and he is
all the time throughout the season, but now he's on the back foot again. Uriarte's the one with
corner, but Brian Uriarte flicked it right and then left better
to exceeding track limits. He's down in 20th at the moment, fighting with Plonk, who also had a long lap penalty as well.
Oh, and Brian getting it a bit sideways on the brakes going in there on that penalty, and caught himself out. Anyway, back with the leaders then. Brian Uriarte still with a slight advantage over the 17 of Yaroslav Kapushin.
Kyrgyzstan he's had since that pole in that front row start, podium back in. Youngest riders on the Rookies Cup grid, isn't he? As Hakim Danish went very wide there. That could have been the edge of the white. Did he actually go onto the green? That is the question.
I think somebody way off in the green there. Christian Daniel Jr., he'd lost a few places, perhaps, turns ago, but he's back in the hunt now, up into 6th place ahead of Morel.
Really impressive, all this. I mean, what a change we've had in this.
KJ is down, he's up again, and
Ticini, I think it is as well. Monignani, he was trying to go into the long lap, I think. Yeah, he was trying to go. So back at the front then, Peter. Veda from Uriarte, Danish, Ellie and Gonzalez. The front 7, 8 riders now starting to pull away. Amadee in 9th, Carter Thompson.
Danish, long lap penalty.
Yeah, there we go. It's possible.
He is really, there's just 7 laps. There's going to be 6 laps remaining. I wonder if how handlebars there to tell him as the board hung out
He's
at the start of the finish.
Yes, straight away. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Hakim.
Benyat Fernandez in 4th place on the number 7, chasing Karpushin number 17.
Green stuff on the exit of that turn. Joel Pons having his best ride of the year so far, right, for the pair of them. Joel Pons really needs to finish like this, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Hakim Danish outlined that time, so he has 1 point at the moment. 1 point.
Real shame because, wow, what a blockbuster of a finish, a real Spielberg one in general, but how good would it have been with top 3 in the championship, all battling out for the top 3 position. On Dinesh, he's up in the 14th at the moment.
And it looked to me as it cost him, it cost him 4 seconds, that long lap penalty.
Yeah. Ruin your race potentially, or in this case, it could potentially ruin your championship.
Side by into that right-hander.
Gonzalez has recovered. Gonzalez has a really turn, and he had such a great drive through there that he's almost catching up to both Veda of the race so far then, and it is Gonzalez on a mission.
He's lapping at a very similar pace for the men in front, but of course he's got to go quicker.
It's only hope for some misfortune to befall the 2 title rivals ahead of him, which is all wrong out front, both Uriarte and Pratama. They have basically been in the top 3, 4 positions, so they are just on another level here.
Yeah, so Uriarte. Now, this is all the way, and Brian Uriarte watching what he was doing, where he was going, and picking just the quickest.
Morelli's also recovered then after being completely pushed wide a few laps. It's now a leading quartet. You've got Benyat Fernandez leading the chasers just behind him, but how much higher the grid towards the front now as they go three abreast again. David Gonzalez up the end, he does, can't push it, goes wide as well. So it's now Morelli into third place, Veda in...
Gonzalez has the lead. He was disappointed yesterday. He got pushed back to fifth in the end, but he's having Morelli on the 95 there, up into second place. Takes that from Gonzalez. There we are.
But is it going to be enough? He's still 1 second adrift from the chasing back. He's got it all to do here. Crack on. It's all there for the taking as Morelli moves up into second place. The Junior GP podium just a couple of weeks ago in Aragon. He had a wild card replacement ride in the World Championship as Veda goes bumper cars with Gonzalez.
And them getting away at the front, and he doesn't want to let that happen. That was pretty hairy stuff. An advantage to Riati and Morelli in front.
Veda, though, as he's got Daniel for company. That as Brian moves all the way over to the inside of the track and him and Morelli coming up. Gonzalez pushes Veda wide again. Let's see. In Spielberg.
Now, Brian said after the race yesterday that he knew he had some. This is the time to show what he can do, because he's with Veda Pratama back in fourth. In fact, fifth, also Pratama back in fourth place under great pressure from Benyat Fernandez and Gonzalez and Capuchin.
What have you got on Marco Morelli out front? No plan B, 95, looking for a ride. He sign off with another win before potentially heading to the world stage.
That's doing really well for him, and he's making full use of it.
Christian Daniel Jr. in third position as a track limits warning. You got something in hand on Veda apparently, but where is it? He's ahead of you. You got to make that move to extend that lead 10 with. This is absolutely cracking. 7 riders up for the win here.
Down in sixth place in the cup chase. He's not in the battle. It's down to Veda and Brian Ariarin got a superb drive out, and Brian has gone with him. You see being quick and slow out, really root for Morelli, who's dropped back from first to third place.
Christian Daniel looking up the inside, but Morelli, so it is. Wow, it's going to be potentially 1-2 in the championship, 1-2 in the race speeds outside. Tyres screaming, give me more grip, I need it. Here we go.
Yeah, and it is.
Here we go.
Yeah, and it is now. It's Pratama that leads over Brian Ariate, but you know that Marco Morelli's going to have something to say about that in the last 2 corners. This is where Brian Ariate took the lead last year. He's doing it on the straight this time instead of under the braking. But he goes into the corner.
Oh!
No, but it's Brian Ariate. He's perfectly positioned, and Pratama's offline. If Brian at Spielberg, Brian Ariate hangs on to the lead over Veda Pratama and Marco Morelli.
Brilliant! What a race! Absolutely sensational!
So Capuchin gets a long lap penalty on the last lap. Of course, he can't serve that, but that means
back into 12th spot potentially, or even behind it. So look at that though. What? Let's see what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been any one of those 3 or 4, couldn't it? But Brian, again, just played it perfectly. He was so smooth through that right-hander. Here comes Morelli on the inside, can't do it. And Veda just that gave the victory really to Brian. He wasn't going to be caught on the run into the line.
Brian, what a win, what a race. I mean, yeah, Brian won absolutely
over the pressure and rode an absolutely brilliant race.
Yeah, I mean, up until the track limits thing, which, you know, is a fraction of...
Can't it? Could be the guy inside you. It doesn't have to be your mistake, really.
But this is it. This is top-level margins, and is the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
Second in Rookies Cup, despite missing